Who is a Hindu? The term Hindu had originally a territorial and not creedal significance. It implies residence in a well defined geographical area. As a modern term, Hindu has evolved from the Indo Iranian word Sindhu. This Proto Indo Iranian word Sindhu literally refers to the river Sindhu or Indus and the culture pertaining to its long expansive valley. This is where the Hindu culture developed. Historically, however, at a very early date, the Persian explorers entered the Indian subcontinent from the far northwest. After they returned, they published chronicles. But due to the phonetics of their native Persian language, the S of Sindhu became an aspirated H, and this is how the people of Sindhu Valley came to be known as Hindus by the Persians. This flawed intonation inevitably stuck since they always referred to the locals as Hindus. The term was adopted by the Indians themselves as a way of distinguishing native culture from that of the foreign Muslims. According to the Semitic religions like Islam and Christianity, salvation or access to God is possible only if you accept the authority of their prophet and holy book. They hold that theirs is the only true path, and the claims of all other religions are false and invalid. So, it is in these factors, primarily the exclusive belief in prophet and holy book, and secondarily in the theological beliefs and distinct cultural practices, that the individual identity of a religion and its adherents rests. But if we look at India, the concept of a prophet is totally lacking. No saint has ever claimed his is the only way. As a concept, religion is alien to India. The Sanskrit word for philosophy is darshana, which means direct vision. The words symbolize the difference between the modern Western philosophy, which mainly relies on intellectual pursuit, and Indian philosophy that relies on direct vision of truths and pure reasoning. Direct experience, acceptance of authority, harmony among schools, parallel growth, and coexistence of so many schools, open mindedness, support of logic and reasoning, belief of eternity, law of karma, moral and ethical teachings, acknowledgement of suffering, practicality, and being inward looking. These are the main aspects that distinguishes Hinduism from all other religions. Dharma, that which inculcates justice and equity, which teaches truthfulness in thought, speech, and deed, that which is in conformity with the will of God as embodied in the Vedas, that is called as the Dharma. Hinduism is not considered a religion but is a way of life because Dharma guides every step of a devout Hindu who is drawn to it and deeply influences his thinking, behavior, and attitude towards himself, others, and the world. It is difficult to separate the faith of a devout Hindu from his lifestyle or way of living. Both are inseparable. Both complement each other. Both exist because of each other. And both will lose their meaning and significance without the other. For a Hindu, his faith is the center of living, and living is the center of his faith. The faith defines a devotee's way of life in Hinduism and serves as the foundation of his character and behavior. It is his inseparable source of knowledge, inspiration, guidance, philosophy, and righteous conduct. However modern or advanced he may be, and whether he is conversant with the scriptures or not, its sacred influence is always present in his life as an undercurrent, deeply rooted in his consciousness and firmly entrenched in his being. Since Hinduism believes firmly in the reincarnation of souls, the faith of a Hindu does not begin with this birth, but it is a continuation of his past lives and as a consequence of his karma. He believes that his religiosity has already been shaped by his past lives by the time he was born and he arrived into this world. He carries with him the legacy of his religious past along with all his deeply rooted religious beliefs to begin his journey without losing the karmic merits of his past. As the holy book Bhagavad Gita declares, even if he had failed and faltered on the path of liberation in his past life, there would be no loss for him. He would be born in his next birth with the merit which he had accumulated so that he could begin his journey afresh from where he had left. A Hindu knows that God can be approached and worshipped in diverse ways, not only by performing rituals and sacrificial ceremonies, but also by the very act of living and using life as an opportunity to serve God, family, society, and dharma and pay off all the karmic debts. Since he knows that God is all, he does not judge anyone or any path. The fundamental principle of Hinduism is that the root of sorrow lies in ignorance, and remedy is wisdom or vidya. This wisdom cannot be externally imposed. It has to be discovered within by one's own self efforts through knowledge, action, and contemplation. The external tools may be helpful in the process, but nonetheless, each of us has to undertake his own journey through his own initiative. Vedas are considered supreme in Hinduism. Some consider Gita to be their guide. Some admire Ramayana and Mahabharata. But none is a compulsion. The only compulsion is that you sincerely undertake a journey of personal discovery. All our scriptures affirm that we are divine. God lives in us as our own selves. Although our bodies are filled with impurities of nature, they still house the divinities and represent the creation of God at the microcosmic level. Every aspect of human personality is infused with divine presence. If we are intelligent and attentive enough, with discernment and reverence, we can perceive the footprints of God even in the regular aspects of our lives and in our routine experiences. With perseverance, we can make the very act of living a form of worship, a means to connect to God, and a way to purify and ennoble our minds and bodies. By stabilizing our minds in the thoughts of God, we can create in this very life and in our mortal bodies the ideal conditions for our spiritual growth and self realization. This is the final aim of Hinduism.